Hi, I'm Scott Sackett. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please like, subscribe, comment. And anyway, I want to talk today about my favorite drawing pencil and why you can't buy one. This is my favorite drawing pencil. You'll notice this one didn't sharpen. I'll talk about that in a second. It is a Eagle Chemcel Turquoise Drawing H. I've done a video about drawing lead holders or drawing with lead holders, some of my favorite lead holders. I do use a lead holder a lot, but I do like a wood pencil for some things. There are some challenges. There are reasons why I use one or another in different situations, but this is probably my favorite drawing instrument of all the ones I have. And if you're like me, or like most artists, you have a lot of drawing pencils, but this is my absolute favorite. Now, you're probably looking at this going, why can't I get one? And I'll tell the story about getting this. So several years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, a friend of mine comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, I want to give you one of these pencils." And I go, "Okay." And so he gave me a pen. We were out running around drawing, and he gave me a pencil like this, not this pencil, but a pencil like this. And he said, a neighbor passed away and the family was selling everything. And I went over to the garage sale and there was a box of these pencils, and I really like them. They're pretty old. And he looked on the box and it said it was from like I think the 30s or the 40s or something. And so I took it home and I tried it. And I like him, I really liked it. And so well, let me talk about why I like it real quick. So I've got one here that's sharpened. So one of the things I like about this pencil, and this is another one that I have, and I'll talk about that because, like I said, he gave me one. So one of the things I like about it is you get a real controlled line darkness. And what I mean by that is it's very easy to control. So if you do a line and then you want to come back over it, you can make it darker pretty easy. And the graphite is very smooth. It blends well. And it just feels different from modern pencils. And I've used a lot of modern pencils, but after using this for quite a while, I really like it. I use it for all my roughs and my comic books because it has that control where you can go over it light, use the same pencil, and then just darken the lines. It'll just gradually get darker and darker. It doesn't smear real easily. It's a hard pencil, but it's not really hard. A lot of times with hard pencils, you can draw, and it'll never get darker. You just kind of dig into the paper. To me, this is kind of the perfect combination of hard, between hard but yet soft. So it's hard enough it doesn't smear, but soft enough you don't have to really dig into the paper. So let me talk about the Eagle Pencil Company for just a little bit quickly. Eagle Pencil Company was founded in 1856 by a guy named Daniel Berolzheimer out of New York City. He started a pencil store in New York City, and then a few years later he actually started a factory and started making his own pencils. And he expanded. They grew and grew. It expanded. Had an overseas factory and was selling it overseas. Was doing pretty good until World War II came along, like in '39, when Germany was starting to march around Europe. They converted to from pencil production to war production. I don't know what they were making at that point. And so they went along fine. After the war in '46, they converted back to pencils. They're making pencils. The brand lasted. The brand continued until '69. In '69, there were some changes, and so they changed the name to Berol. Berol, of course, was the shortened version of Berolzheimer. So the last name at some point got shortened by the family, and so they shortened the name. And again, it was going along until '86. In '86, I think it was sixth generation Berol, the family, the last person in the family did not have an heir, and so there was no one to take over the company. And so in 86, they sold it to Empire Pencil Company, which Empire is I've heard of Empire pencils. That went along until in 95, they sold to Sanford. Now, this is where things go awry. If you're familiar with Sanford, Sanford's the people that make Sharpies. They're a division of Newell Brands. Newell Brands, I believe, is a chemical company. They make a lot of like totes, a lot of plastic things. They also make a surprising number of modern art supplies. I've said for a long time that modern art supplies are not as good as they were back in the day. And so Newell Brand was making barrel pencils. They were, I guess at this point, they were branded as Sanford. Or I think they continued the barrel brand. But then at that point, or actually around 2010, they had some redundancies in the factory, and so they stopped producing the pencils. So anything you buy today, and I think there are still colored pencils that are branded as barrel, but anything you buy today is produced overseas. They've basically subbed out the name. So so I like the original barrel pencils. Now I have a box of them here. Now I've got 6 of them unsharpened in the box. I'll put that back in there. You see the box, cool box. So this box box is from 1936. It was printed in 36. I bought these, amazingly, I found them on Amazon. You can still find them. I got a box, and I think it cost me less than $10 for this box. And it's got a little story, but it says here, smoother leads, the correct content of rare lubricating waxes is permanently retained in the leads by the impervious coating deposited on them in the super bonding process. Obviously, they put a lot of pride in their pencils. But this is my favorite drawing pencil. It's like I said, it's smooth and it's hard, so you can draw light, but it doesn't smear. But it's not so hard you can't go back over it and make it darker. And so to me, it works great for making comic books, because I can draw my roughs, and I can, as I go, I can slowly build it up. Anyway, so maybe you could find a box of these if you're interested. You can't just go down to the art supply store and buy them. Unfortunately, a lot of people complain about art supplies being expensive nowadays, which they certainly are. But I also add to that, and they're not good quality. A lot of the care that they put into them back in the old days, as they say, this goes back to the 30s, so it was even before my time, in there, and they've been forced to take shortcuts for different reasons. But again, if you can get a hold of a box of these, I recommend you get it. This is the H. I like the H. I haven't tried the others, and I've tried H's in modern pencils, and I just can't find anything that is close to this for me. But anyway, I just thought I would share this. Leave a comment below. Maybe you have a brand of drawing pencil that you think is great. Please leave a link below. I'm always looking for art supplies to buy, or maybe you've used these. Let me know if you have, or comment otherwise. Anyway, thank you very much. Have a good day.